All right. Good day, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, August 12th, 2021. My name is Charles. I am with the Exodus Logistics Learning Centers, which features freight broker and dispatcher one-on-one training for beginners. Just wanted to come in and give you a brief, hopefully, synopsis of what we did last night. Our dispatcher one-on-one Wednesday night training for beginners, basic level. We had a student who booked their first load, well, first four loads. A student, brand new student to the program, got a carrier who they knew, and then booked loads with the broker, four loads for this one carrier. This new student who just joined our program booked four loads with her one carrier, her flatbed carrier, and we went over step by step what she did so that others can hear and see and get an idea of what she did, what her process was, what her workflow was, and everything like that. So we broke it down from getting the carrier, how she got the carrier, the process she did, from finding a load on the load board to booking the load, that conversation with the broker, doing the carrier packet. She went through an online process with the carrier packet. I think it was RMIS or My Carrier Packets, the rate confirmation, dispatching the carrier to pick up the load, which is scheduled for, I think, Monday. But she had a flatbed carrier, which we teach our three major equipment types: dry van, flatbed, and reefer. And she had a flatbed carrier, a 48-foot flatbed, I believe, and she found a load for the carrier, went through the process with the broker, booked the load, booked four loads. So a brand new student on the dispatcher one-on-one training for beginners booked four loads for her one flatbed carrier. So amazing, right? So just wanted to come on and give you guys a synopsis of that. Dispatcher one-on-one training for beginners. And then we also had Q&A. We did some load board navigating, the different features and functionality of our load boards that we offer in our back office portal. We particularly went into 123 load board, showed the feature in the search directory feature of how to find carriers, brokers, and shippers. And then we navigated the old and new version of 123 load board just to see the uses of it, the functionality, the user interface. And then we also looked at the load board called Direct Freight Services. We checked out the functionality of that, looked at the load map to see what states had a high volume of loads so that you can send your carriers to and from those states, and keep them, avoid them going to states that do not have a high volume of inbound and outbound freight. So this is dispatching, right? That's how it's done. Before you can dispatch a carrier, you have to know how to get the carrier. You have to market yourself, sell yourself as a dispatching company, offer that service. What are you charging? What is your percentage or what is your flat rate as a dispatcher? How do you incorporate that and roll that into the negotiation with the broker? How do you onboard your carriers with the broker? The rate confirmation, any special instructions, little hidden things to look for from the brokers, how to communicate with your carriers to make sure that they are informed in order to take that load. So, good morning, Nina on the go. How are you? So yeah, these are things that we went over last night in our live online operational training for dispatcher 101 for beginners, training for beginners. Okay, and we also had Q&A. We had questions that we had asked and answered. So there, I was going to give a synopsis last night after the training, but it kind of spilled over a little late. So I come in this morning and give you guys an update and a synopsis of what we did. I'm trying to make myself visible on the channel going forward after our trainings. I'll try to do it after every training. I can't promise that, but I'll try to do it after every training. Come on and give you guys a synopsis of what we did, particularly because you 11,000 subscribed members, most of you are not enrolled into our ongoing training. So, but if you have an interest in knowing or learning or wondering about what dispatching is and how to do it and what's all involved in it, at least consider the Exodus Logistics Learning Center's Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. And I put the link to the website in the chat here. And we had Q&A as well. So right now, I'll open it up right now for some questions. There's about 16 of you guys and 17 of you guys in here now. Any questions that you have now pertaining to what we talked about last night or in general that I can possibly answer for you now while I have a good few minutes to do that. So before we get off, I want to just give a synopsis of what we did last night. Okay? Any questions? Questions? Everybody's coming in saying good morning. Any questions? No questions? Everybody's good on their dispatching, good on wanting to be an entrepreneur, wanting to work from home, wanting to control your own destiny, be your own boss, things of that nature. Okay? No questions? I think it's Vaibhav Gower, if I can pronounce the name correctly. Actually, I'm into dispatching, but I'm getting very hard time finding carriers. So, yeah. So give me 1 second. Let me stop something real quick to help the sound. All right. So, Yaya B said, good morning. Hi, Mr. Charles. What is the average percentage for a new dispatcher? Great question. Dimitrivsky. The going rate for dispatchers is between 5 and 7% that you charge per load when you're dispatching. 5 to 7 for people who have no experience, and then 8 to 10 if you're starting to get traction and gain experience. So most people meet the carriers in the middle, like 7 is a good starting point, 7%. But the range is between 5 and 10% for new dispatchers. So yeah, okay. You said also having a hard time finding carriers. They have Gower. How are you going after the carriers? Are you cold calling? Are you visiting truck stops? Are you utilizing social media, Indeed, joining certain groups, and then pitching your service on those groups? That's a good starting point. So, Darlene, good morning. Magic Matrix says, how do you go about negotiating a rate when the load has multiple stops and the broker tries to post a load with the last stop, but there's more miles to it than what is shown on the load board? Very good question. Great question. So when you are, here's a standard that you want to go by, guys. When you are talking to the broker about the load and you see just it looks like a 1-and-1, one pick, one drop, and they do not disclose on the load board that it's going to be multiple stops. We have in our back office a load details cheat sheet where there are certain questions depending on the equipment type that you are booking the load for your carrier that we ask the brokers. One of which is this a 1-and-1 or is it multiple stops? Because you need to know that, because you are going to add into the rate per extra stop, some $150 to $200, maybe $250, on top of whatever that rate is posted for. So yeah, you want to know everything going in, and sometimes brokers, for whatever reason, do not disclose that the load has multiple stops. So you need to find that out starting out, okay? Nina on the go say I wasn't there last night. If you are a member of our training portal, Nina on the go, and you have access to the back office, it is in our video, training videos library. So if you are a member, you have access to that. Can dispatchers work with the government? Well, I don't see why not. So you can work with the government as a representative of your carrier or the trucking company that you're dispatching for, and then go after those contracts. So yes. Vabe said they did cold calling. Okay, so try to switch it up. If you're not having success, Vabe have Gower, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. If you're not having success with the cold calling aspect of trying to get a carrier, switch it up. If you live within a certain mile radius, like 30, 25 miles of a truck stop, visit the truck stop. Take copies of your dispatcher agreement, take copies of your carrier profile. Talk to the carriers. Let them know that you offer a service that you could help them find loads and keep them running consistently if they have a need for a dispatcher. Be sure you get the permission from the management at the facility, the truck stop. You just don't want to go on their campus or on their property soliciting. Okay. So Chanel Pearl said Facebook groups have helped. So there you go. I'm not Chanel said, I'm not sure of the process yet. I would like to know more information on government loans also. Thanks for asking. Yes, it is a long process. You have to get a SAMS number. You have to establish yourself, get past the requirements. Google the requirements for government contracts, one of which is a SAMS number. Security, I think it's security access management, I believe it is, or security accounts management number that qualifies you to bid on government contracts. Okay. If we cannot negotiate a higher rate, Dimitrivsky, as if we cannot negotiate a higher rate with the broker, do we still take the same percentage? Example, Lowe pays 3,000, we get 10%, 300. That is correct. So if you cannot negotiate a higher rate, so let's say the load is 3,000, 10% of that is 300. You're trying to negotiate up to at least 3,300 to cover your percentage on top on the broker side. But if they are firm on 3,000, then you share that information with the carrier. Like, hey, I try to negotiate my percentage on top. Do you still want the load? And if they say yes, then you say, okay, well, my percentage is going to come out of or deduct from that 3,000 as opposed to coming out for 3,300 or more if I would have been successful negotiating a higher rate. And if the carrier still agrees to that, then you guys have an understanding that once he gets paid, $300 is coming out of 3,000, which is going to be 27 to the carrier. Okay. Bob Bridges says, what about the driver questioning your experience? How do you get around this? Let them know. Well, it depends on how much experience you have. And if you are part of a network of dispatchers, or if you're part of our group, then that's easy. You just let them know that you're part of a network of experienced dispatchers, and we've been doing this. I've been doing this for a number of years. So, but if you got a new driver that's questioning your experience, they're a new driver as well. So you guys can kind of grow together. You know, they're a new driver with a new MC. You're a new dispatcher with barely starting your company. You guys can grow and progress together. As long as you guys have an open channel of communication, you should be fine. We definitely have to have drivers with good backgrounds. I know of a driver that went to Kansas last week. He got to the base, then couldn't get in because of his background. That's correct. As far as the government contracts. So if you, let's say you land a government contract as a dispatcher working with a trucking company, part of the requirements is, one of those things is a background check. So if you get drivers, you would probably want to question them on that particular load if you get the government loads. That'll be one of the requirements. There's a certain outline of requirements with government contracts. And if the drivers do not meet those requirements, then there's no point even booking a load with that driver, to avoid that situation, them having to drive all the way up there to get turned around because they don't qualify. They don't even qualify for someone to come out there and escort them onto the base, not let alone having an issue with the background check. Okay. So Jazz Gray said, I'm going to have to get a Facebook account. I don't have one to join the group. Okay. Yeah. So our Facebook group, we have two Facebook groups. Dispatcher 101, which is just a generic one for members as well as non-members. And then we have a Facebook Dispatcher 101 members only group. These are for members who have enrolled into our online training program. So they get a chance to communicate outside of the live trainings. We share gems with one another, experiences and things like that. So, and then let's see, on the back rows, and I'll add you to the groups. Okay, so Shouldn't they have been approved before they went to the job? Exactly. That's the point, Nina. As far as the driver and the government contract, yes. So if you are dispatching and you have a carrier, you get a government contract. Part of the stipulation is there's a certain list of requirements. And prior to even booking a load with a driver or a carrier, they should meet those requirements. One of which is background check. So if they don't meet that, then they don't even get the load awarded to them or booked for them. Okay, so yeah, so it's a process with the government contract. You know, it's a couple of years, a few years, SAM's number and other things involved. So good luck with that. So I would say starting off for you beginner and new dispatchers is to start off just doing basic dispatching with the three major equipment types. So the dry vans, the flatbeds, and the reefers, because you see them out here on the roads a lot. They're out there the most. You can find loads for them the easiest, and they pay good rates, some of the better rates. So why not make your transition into an independent freight dispatcher easy for yourself by booking loads for those types of equipment types? Okay, so, all right. But last night we went into all of that. We had a number of new students. We covered the fact that one of our students, Tracy, she recently joined, not even a week, I think it is. I know at least 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, has a flatbed carrier and booked 4 loads for her flatbed carrier. Okay, and then whenever someone books a load, I ask them 2 things. I ask them, well, come into the training so we can break down, what you did, as acquiring a carrier and things of that nature, what you did in that process, and also do a video testimonial so others can see it as well of your experience with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center and what you gathered, data, what you learned, analytics, and things like that. So questions, any more questions? Just in here now, a little time. I have a 10 o'clock consultation. I wanted to come in and give you guys a synopsis of last night's live training for members only. Let you know that we had a new student who booked a load, who got a carrier, and then we did some basics training, welcoming the new members who enrolled. Q&A, went through the Lowe boards, the functionality of the Lowe boards, how to find carriers on the Lowe boards through 123, direct freight services. We also went to the DAT directory. I didn't get a chance to go into grave detail about the DAT directory, but the DAT directory is a feature under tools in the DAT Truckers Edge Lowe board. So that's how you access the DAT directory. And so there's several resources we offer in our trainings, and one of which is about 6 Lowe boards we offer in our training. We offer templates, tools, ebooks, glossary, live trainings recorded. So yeah. Can all of the documentation between broker, dispatcher, and carrier be done online and by email? Yes, one or the other or both. So with our student, Tracy Dimitrisky, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I apologize if I'm butchering you guys' name. So with that, sometimes brokers do onboarding with software, online software. The popular ones are RMIS, Registry Monitoring Insurance Service. There's an onboarding for transportation and property management. And okay, I'll call you Sam. And then the other one is My Carrier Package, another popular one. So the onboarding, you type in a MC or DOT number, or code or whatever, and then it automatically populates. It kind of streamlines the process of onboarding quicker so that you can book the loads quicker for your carrier, get them going on the road and out there making money. Okay, so the owner who booked the load missed the must-pass background check on the load. I noticed that loads that will say must-pass background check, I definitely think those are government loads. More than likely, either they're government loads, or if a broker posts those loads on the regular load boards, on the spot market load boards, and says must pass a background check, it's going on a base to pick up. So it may not necessarily be a government contracted load. It just may be a broker has a load that's a military based load that they're just picking up freight from the military base and delivered it to another installation or outside to a customer off-site. So doesn't necessarily mean a government contract when it says must pass background check. Okay. How would you plan around your personal vacation? How do you do it when you was a single dispatcher? That's a great question. I would plan probably a month out, plan out, let the carriers know, and see where they are, and then we'll plan out. Or I would have someone assisting that, help me while I'm on vacation. I'll still be available for phone calls and texts and things like that in case something happens, because they're still my carrier. So, okay. But yeah, if you can do vacation, you can put a block of time in. You just have to give yourself and your carrier a substantial amount of time to prepare for that. You wouldn't want to book a loads this week, going out, and then go on vacation next week, and you're not available to assist your carrier in functioning that next week while you're on vacation. Okay. That's where a TWIC card would be needed. Yes. So to get on base, to get on the ports mainly is for the TWIC cards. To get on base, you have what's called rapid gates, or certain type of you would go to the pass office and get a temporary pass to get on the bases. But the TWIC card TWIC stands for Transportation Worker Identification Card. So those are more mainly for intermodal port type work, picking up the containers and things like that. Okay. All right. Been up here 20 minutes. That's a decent amount of time. I figure I may not do more than a half an hour because I have a 10 a.m. Consultation, so don't want to run the risk of going over that. Checking my phone here to make sure I don't have any messages here. So, okay. So, all right. If working a full-time job, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., what times are good to call carriers? Interesting. So, if you are able to access or have the ability to call during that 7 to 5 full-time job time slot, the best time to call carriers will be early in the mornings during the week, Monday through Fridays, in your time zone, Eastern, Central, Mountain, or Pacific, around 6:37 in the morning, and then around 1:32 in the afternoon, because they're, you guys are like, the brokers are coming back from lunch and the carriers are either looking for something later in the afternoon. So once the morning rush happens that you can't get a load in the morning, then you can try to get loads in the afternoon. So you can call carriers during that time as well. But specifically carriers, calling them will be early in the morning, 6 to 7, and in the afternoon around, let's say 4-ish, 5-ish to about 7-ish in the evening, because carriers are winding down, looking for a place to park their trucks to do their resets for the day. That's Monday through Friday. On the weekends, I used to call carriers after 12 noon Eastern time in whatever time zone that carrier lived. So if I'm on the East Coast, which I am in Virginia, I can't call a carrier at 12 noon Eastern time because it's 9 a.m. over there. I would have to, if I wanted to call that carrier in their time zone at 12 noon, I would have to wait till 3 o'clock my time to call them at 12 noon their time, because it's a 3-hour time difference. So you have to be mindful of that, the time zones. Okay. Would one carrier require 2 loads per week booked? 2, or it depends on the distance of the load, the distance, how many miles it is. So 2 to 3 loads a week is good. So yes. As a dispatcher, do I need to find the shippers before I get my carriers or find my carrier? As a dispatcher, you need to have carriers because you are contracted. It's a dispatcher agreement between you and the carrier. So finding the shippers or brokers in this case, not shippers, but brokers in this case, mainly you'll be dealing with brokers. You can deal with direct shippers as a dispatcher, but it'll be a tricky thing to do. But I would say get your carriers first under a dispatcher agreement, and then look for the loads with the brokers and or shippers. Okay, Tia White. You have to have a fund number before you register for SAM. Right. So yeah, so there's certain requirements for SAM. Google that if you are interested in going into the government sector of loads and getting freight. Um, it's a prolonged process, a lot of red tape. I highly caution that. So, what load boards do you recommend? So, the top three load boards, Magic Matrix is or are 123 load board, the premium account. Any version of DAT that you need, whatever functionality or features of DAT, DAT, DAT is an acronym, D as in dog, A as in apple, T as in Tom. It stands for dial a truck. That's what DAT is. It comes in different flavors or different versions, I like to say. DAT Express, DAT Pro, DAT Trucker's Edge, and DAT Power. Okay. And then Truck Stop. Used to be Internet Truck Stop, but now it's Truck Stop. So 123 DAT or Truck Stop. If you Google those, you'll see the different versions of each of those. But those are the top three. Okay. And then you got Direct Freight Services and some other ones after that. But those are the top three that I recommend. Okay. What's the best time to search load boards? Whenever you get your carrier and your dispatch agreement back from your carrier, Bob Bridges, whenever you get your dispatch agreement from your carrier and the profile sheet, whatever it says on their profile, when they are looking for loads and how they're looking for loads, you're going to cater your load search according to the profile. So you ask your carrier, are you currently under a load or are you empty? And when are you looking for your next load? So you're doing your load search on a load board based on the availability of when your carrier needs that load. So they may be under a load now when you got them under a dispatch agreement, but they won't be empty until Monday morning. So you would start looking for a load now or Friday or over the weekend for Monday morning. So it's based on when your carrier will be empty and need their load. That's when you search the load boards, right? And then contact the broker. So my understanding is I can't just go under a load board and call the broker for my carrier. So how do I get in contact with brokers? Do I email them or put out flyers? Or no, you can go. So my understanding is I can't just go under a load board and call the brokers for my carrier. Why not? That's exactly what you do. Tia White, you go on the load board. So if you have access to a load board, then that's what you do. You will log in with the username and password, and then you will search loads according to the criteria of your carrier. There may be a dry van, there may be a flatbed, there may be a reefer. And then you look up where they are going to be empty next in that city. That's the city that they'll pick up the load. And then wherever they want to go, they can go anywhere. They want to go to a certain state or states, or they want to go to a specific city and state because they have another load waiting on them in that area. So you search according to that criteria. Yes, that's exactly how it's done. You go on there, and then when you find that load, the broker that posted that load provides their contact information in the post. And you call that number and inquire about that load based off of the reference number on the load board, the load number, or whatever. And then they'll ask you, you'll go through the process of dialoguing with the broker, getting the MC number of your carrier, seeing if they're set up with that brokerage, and going through that process of the carrier packet and rate confirmation. That's exactly how it's done, Tia White. Okay. I look at load boards 24/7. Load boards are dry on weekends. I agree, because most brokers don't work on the weekend. They are able to get a hold of via email on the weekend, and they'll tell you that in the load postings. So load boards give you the call button or contact information. Yeah, so Chanel Pearl is just agreeing with me when I referenced Tia White's statement there that she can't go on a load board. That's exactly what you do on the load boards. That's literally what you do. You go to the load boards and you find the loads and you book the loads with the brokers who posted that load if your carrier is in agreement with what the details of that load says. Okay? That's how it works, literally. All right? All right, guys, we have less than a minute. I was going to stay on here. Trucker's Edge, Net, what do you think of them? They're not bad. Trucker's Edge is a version of DAT. So yes, it's okay. It's in the DAT family. So Unto the Whirlwind. So that's good. So yeah, I have 11,000 subscribers now on this Dispatcher 101 training for beginners YouTube channel. I'm not saying I wouldn't book any loads on the weekend, but if I needed a load that's on the weekend from my carrier who requested a load on the weekend, then I would certainly try. So how many different load boards do you utilize? Well, in our back office, we have 6 in our back office. A lot of the load boards have the same common features. Some of them just have different, the same common functionality, but some of them have different features. There you go. Okay. Everyone hit the like button. Someone said everyone hit the like button. That's your choice. I don't force nobody to like or dislike or what have you. Thanks, Charles. I hope everyone has a good day. You're welcome, Chanel Pearl. What all will I need to get started? To get started in our training. So this is the real Q Red to get started in dispatching, to get started on our training. Just in general. So you would need, as an independent dispatcher, you would need, your LLC and EIN. If you are going to have an LLC legal structure, sole prop, S corp, LLC, and an EIN attached to that, yes. After that, you would probably need some training. You would need software. You would need to get your back office infrastructure set up as far as your dispatch. Because if you find a carrier, how will you know? What would you know to send them as far as contracted between you and that carrier, like a dispatch agreement, profile, and things like that. So you would have to have an understanding of all that. And we go over that in detail in our training. Remember, this is a Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, catered to those who know very little, if anything, about being an independent dispatcher. So, what is your favorite load board and why? Hey, Carby Carmen, you were in the training last night. Good to see you here. As a training tool, I use 123 as the favorite, but as a learning tool, as a booking loads tool, it could be Truck Stop, it could be a flavor of that, or 123. Call me Karma. Okay. Good morning, sir. I applied for my authority. So this is Randolph Jackson. I applied for my authority a few years ago, but was not able to afford insurance. Do I need to reapply for the authority to be a freight broker? Okay, so this is a dispatcher YouTube channel, but I can answer that question. So you couldn't afford the insurance as far as for the bond coverage, or the insurance outside of the bond as far as the contingent cargo, liability, or errors and omissions. So, and Randy said he's a company driver. So yeah. So sometimes the insurance rates or the premiums is based off of your credit. So you would probably work on getting your credit up to par. Whatever their requirements are to get good quotes, get your premiums lowered, get those requirements taken care of, and then go back and reapply for the coverage, because the insurance has to be attached to the FMCSA in order for them to approve your authority to activate it. Okay. What kind of software? So you need load boards. You need like accounting software, maybe bookkeeping software like QuickBooks, maybe some basic Microsoft software like a Word document, spreadsheet, just the basic stuff to get you started. You want to keep your overhead low as a beginner business, in any business starting off. Call me Karma, who asked that question. So yeah, Virginia Trucking International. Hey Charles, Fleet Right, best trainer on the net. There you go. Randolph Jackson says outside. Okay. Shelton Brutus, good morning. What load board is easier for beginners to train with, or for beginners to use to book loads for their carriers? Sheldon Brutus, you're asking that question. It would be the top 3. I would say 123 load board, probably the old version of 123 load board. So do you have broker class for beginners? Yes, I do. I do have a broker class for beginners. I do have broker YouTube channel also, which I'm probably going to go into after Friday's training. We do broker trainings on Tuesdays and Friday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay. So would I need a business license? So the LLC and the EIN attached to that, it depends on the state that you're in. If they require you to have a business license to operate in that state, maybe in articles of incorporation, or something to that effect, depending on the state that you are in. So look up your state and see what the requirements are for the state, okay, as far as business licenses are concerned. All right. So again, I have over 11,000 subscribers on this channel. I'm assuming, I would say 50% of you at least, that's a fair number, are interested in some type of training, or else you wouldn't be here inquiring about information, right? You're interested in being your own boss, things like that. What is the broker YouTube channel? It is called Freight Broker 101 Training for Beginners. Okay. Santino Archer, I'm in Chesapeake, Virginia. Great. You're very close to me. I'm in the Western Branch area of Chesapeake, Northern Suffolk. So I'll probably do a meetup with all of my members who are in the Virginia area that's close to me. Probably meet at a hotel in Virginia in the conference room and have a meetup, sit down and have some lunch and just talk turkey, talk business. Okay. I'm scheduling meetups in major cities. So I have over 800 enrolled students in the dispatcher side. So, and we're doing a tally of the major cities that the majority of the students are in, and I'm going to probably fly to those cities and personally meet, get into a hotel, get a conference room, and meet with the students just to say hello, hey, put a face with the training. So, Select is really good, as everyone says, for LTL. It's good, it's expensive, and they have extensive requirements. So yes. An alternative to Selectus is called My Virtual Fleet. This is for LTL, box truck, sprinter van, cargo van, type of specialty equipment types. Okay. Call me, Karma. If you become a broker, can you skip over using a dispatcher and deal directly with the carrier? Of course you can. Of course you can. Most brokers do that. Yeah. Yep. Okay, I will be there. Thank you for sharing and helping. I appreciate it. And a Friday, correct. I'm not sure the last part of your question, Randolph Jackson. I appreciate it. Tut and Friday, correct. I'm not sure. Looking forward to it. Is there a way to purchase your back office without purchasing the training? At the moment, no, D. Garland. You have to enroll in order to participate in. Well, you can purchase the training materials only on the website. And you can purchase the ebooks like 3-for-1 and 4-for-1 and individually. So you can do that. But the back office access, no, there's no back office without. You have to be an enrolled member to actually participate in the back office access. Okay. Oops, you need a DUNS number before you register for SAMS. That is correct. You do need a DUNS number. So if you Google the requirements for government contracting, it will mention all of those things. All right, thank you for your comment, CPR nurse. Nino on the goes in Woodbridge. That's in Northern Virginia. Okay, thank you. Yes, CPR nurse. Thank you very much, guys. Jonathan Ruffin, do you book loads before your driver is empty? You book loads, you can. So if you booked a load for a driver, currently their first load, and they're on their way to deliver that load, they've already picked it up at the shipper, then you should be looking for your next load for the driver prior to them becoming empty. Yes. You don't want to wait till they're empty and try to book a load. The hardest booking of a load is trying to book a load the day of, right? So if your driver's empty, say, hey, where's my next load? Okay, well, let me go find you one. And you go onto the load board, you're going to have a hard time. You want to try to be proactive and stay ahead of the curve, right? I'm dispatched, and let's see. For freight broker training for beginners, I will be on that Friday, correct? So yeah, you cannot just come into the training. You can go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Randolph Jackson, but you can't attend the freight broker trainings unless you are an enrolled member into the course. Okay, those are live trainings for members only. Okay. Unto the world where I'm dispatched, and when I purchase a load board, I use the carrier's MC and DOT number, but my company name. Is that correct? That is okay. Yes, that is okay, because you only need the MC or DOT to get past getting a subscription to the load board, because that is the requirement for a load board. You can use your company name because they're going to send the invoice to the person who's paying it, on the credit card. You're going to do a monthly subscription, so they're going to invoice that credit card holder. Right. Alrighty, guys. It's getting close to. It's past. I thought it was 30 minutes. It's going on 40 minutes now. And I got to get ready in 15 minutes for my consultation with one of my. It's either a potential student or a student. I got my book here. How do you enroll in freight broker training? I'm assuming you're asking that. So this is a dispatcher channel, but I will put the link to the freight broker training in here for you. And there it is. Okay. Now, if you want to enroll in the dispatcher training for beginners, I will put the link for that as well. Because this is a dispatcher one-on-one. There's 11,000 of you guys in here. I'm sure there's people who have questions about dispatching, right? Awesome for answer all the questions consistently. It's not a lot of trucking dispatch content out here, which is sad. It isn't a lot of trucking dispatching content out there. That's kind of crazy, but I try to answer the questions to the best of my ability based on my experience and what I have learned over time and the market trends and the analytics and what's going on currently. So I try to keep pace with everything to give you guys the best response possible currently as it relates to the current market. So that's my job as an instructor, to give information. I am to give the information in a way that you can apply it and be successful. That's the goal. So I appreciate that, Santonio Archer. Thanks for what you do. Yes, I appreciate it. You are welcome. No problem. Okay, guys. So 11,000 subscribers. I got 36 of you guys in here, 17 of which like this. If you are interested in joining our family, because it's not a training platform, we're more of a family. Once you enroll, then you're eligible to become a member of our Dispatcher 101 members only Facebook group as well, where we give out even more gems. So the trainings are good. They're getting better. My development team is developing the website. So I'd be willing to come to Virginia for a meetup. Okay, great. Where are you located? Unto the Whirlwind. Because I'm thinking about actually having next year sometime after this whole pandemic Delta variant thing dies down, getting a hotel on the ocean front in Virginia Beach and reserving about maybe 50 rooms and putting together some kind of package for people to come in and do a meet and greet package. Not training, but just meet and greet. So probably by next summer. So give the price of the course again. Which course, Bo Bridges? The dispatcher course. I sent the link. I put the link of the course in the chat right there. Okay. So if you're referring to Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, the single member is $399 to enroll. Plus 1 month after the enrollment, there is a $19.99 monthly subscription to maintain access to the Lowboys of all the tools and resources in our back office. Have access to all of that stuff. Okay. All right. If no further questions, I'll go ahead and end this and get prepared for my 10 a.m. Thank you guys for tuning in. Looking forward to those considering reaching out to me with questions about joining. Putting my phone number in here, which I should have done in the beginning, but there it is. And my email address. Please email me first. That's the first option if you're going to do it soon, because right now I'm going to be in a consultation for the next 30 minutes, 10 a.m. to 10:30 with a student. So, okay. All right, guys. Thanks again. I will make it an effort after every live training for my students to give you guys a synopsis and update for those of you who are in the YouTube channel and are looking to join or have questions about, if you're on the fence and you haven't decided yet. I will give a synopsis of what we went over, so give you an idea of what to expect if you were to join. Okay. That's what my goal is. All right, guys, today's Thursday. Have a great Thursday morning and the rest of your week. I'll talk to you soon. God bless.